top 85 parents I've ever had. My parents, they're good.
Your parents are very cool. Today is all about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Talking with Dr. Sunny Rodgers, who is America's #1 intimate lifestyle expert, sex toy concierge. She has her PhD in human sexuality, and she's a certified sexologist. So today is going to be fun, to say the least.
All about the sex. We threw the poker guys to the curb in case anyone asks us that question. There's no more poker. Backpack show. Couldn't cut you off.
Good morning, Scott.
Hey, Coach. Good to see
I was
everybody.
Just saying, actually, it's all poker if you think about it.
It is all poker.
Yep.
Poker and liquor. Wow,
So
Dr. Sunny Rodgers.
Host a radio show for Playboy where they would take sex questions. She's into sexual wellness. She's got an institute for that. She's got all kinds of things going on. So I'm really excited to talk with her. If you have questions and you're like embarrassed to ask them during the show, she's given us her email address. So we'll give that to everyone so that you don't have to be shy about asking questions. Dr. Sunny is here for you.
We are going to have such a heck of a show today. I don't even want to delay. I just want to drag her in because this is just unprecedented greatness.
And yes, Sunny is her real name.
Yes.
Because I asked, one of the first things I asked.
Right.
Felt like I needed to know.
Are those real? That's what we asked.
That is not how I said it, but I did.
Definitely not how you said it. Hey, doctor, how are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm great.
Glad to have you on.
How are you?
What part of the planet are you in, by the way?
I'm in Southern California.
It is not even breakfast time, and you are so peppy. Is this a typical Dr. Sunny Rodgers demeanor?
Yes, I'm a happy person.
It would have been a bummer if
talk
you
about
were
sex all the time.
I was gonna say it would have been a bummer if you were depressed all the time and your name was Dr. Sunny and you'd be like, "Hey, Dr. Sunny's here." Hi, Michelle.
Michelle was here the last time. Michelle got really excited. We were talking to a nun, so we'll see if we can double down on that with a sex therapist and sexologist. I think it'd be very helpful. What let me open in a weird place. I'm pretty sure when you're
That's what she said. Sorry.
Shut up. And Sugar woke up early for this one too. Sugar Jones out on San Diego. And my parents. What when you're 11, that's not when you think, I think I'll be a sexologist. Did you think you were going to be like a dancer or a doctor or something? What was early Dr. Sunny Rodgers?
Doctor.
I wanted to be a mermaid. I think that's still possible, actually.
Nowadays,
that
especially.
Was my goal. Yes. I went to Disneyland, and I don't know who remembers this, but at the original Disneyland, they had the submarine that went under the water, and they had mermaids that swum around. And so that was my whole entire goal when I was young.
I thought that job would suck. I remember seeing the same thing and thinking, they're basically indentured. Like, amazing how it lands differently.
Right?
Carol's here. Good morning.
I never really thought much about what that job would entail. Like, you have to swim by the submarine a bunch of times.
And get gawked at all the time.
No, but
you're in
the
his
human
head, but
entity.
you're on the outside.
Like there's a girl in that water swimming around with a big ass tail, and then she has to like swim out of view a little bit and get some air. Like I was just thinking about the mechanics of that. That's got to be a jammer of a job. Like you have to be really confident.
That might be my retirement job, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. But you went from mermaid and then you got your degree in journalism. So there's a little bit of a journey there that happened.
There is. Well, I love writing. I've always loved writing, but I also love helping people. And so I took my journalism degree and actually went to work for a community action agency writing grants and dealing with the government. I was actually recruited to work for aerospace to do contracts for the DoD inertial navigation devices and gyroscopes and things like that.
Because nothing revs a girl's engine like contracts.
Right?
Well, right, but she did at least work with gyroscopes, which are like, just giant sex toys. Let's agree.
Yeah. So I basically went from rockets to pocket rockets because from there, I was recruited again to do licensing for a company, and the licensees were Playboy, Penthouse, Hustler, Adam and Eve, all these other brands, Spice TV. So that's how I came into this. And I was helping all of these people design sex toys. And that's what I've been doing now for 20 years. And I wanted to know more about the body, you know, being able to reach the G spot and where is it located and what's an A spot, what's an O spot, what's a P
Is that
spot.
what they cover when you get your master's in clinical sexology? Is that what they talk about? Hi, Kara from Scotland.
There's a lot of anatomy in it. And so from there, I went on to do clinical studies. So then I started working with patients. And from there, I went back to school again and got my PhD in human sexuality. So it's been a journey, a fun one.
What are the outcomes of people who get that set of degrees? You know, when you start to get the doctorate and everything like that, I mean, you don't really finish that and go become a barista. So like, what's the thought?
Or you're like the best barista.
Yeah. Would you like some foam on that? Yeah. I get it.
I think it's needed though, because sex education is so lacking. And that's one of the things, it's kind of funny, but I have so many people that reach out to me because they're like, I want to be a sexologist. I want to help people. I want to talk about sex. How do I start? So that's actually right now my current download. When you sign up at drsunny.com, when you sign up for my email, I send you a whole course on how to figure out what your niche in sexology would be and how to become a sexologist and what the opportunities are. I have friends, Courtney owns Intimate Health Yoga, and it's all about pelvic floor health. And through that, strengthening muscles so she can have better orgasms or repairs after pregnancy and things like that. So there's all these different streams that you can get into that are niches within sexology itself.
The pelvic floor is like its own big area of science anyway, because of what it does for helping with, the ability to hold in your pee as you get older and all these other things. It's a mighty collection of things to learn about. How interesting.
Let the puns start flying. Mermaid to space to sex seems like a logical career path. Scott Woodard loves the origin stories.
Thanks, Scott. Love you.
Nancy just waves. Hi, Nancy.
Fazia Bricks here. Hi, Fazia. This is a PG-13 episode of Fazia is a sponsor, so of the Backpack Show.
I don't know how we'll keep it PG-13. Well, I have a question about sort of evolution even further, because when we think about sexology, and what you'd have to do as a sex therapist, it's pretty easy to think of heteronormative, cisgendered sexual challenges being enough to fill someone's box. No pun. But I mean, then we get into LGBTQ, we get into the whole new rainbow of genders that we can put together. There's a lot of things that come out of this now. Plus, I mean, not even going way past into fetishes and whatnot. Is it so overwhelming that you really do have to pick a spot for this? Or how did you decide I'll do this part that you're doing?
I am focusing on intimate wellness because I think in the long run, prostate massage it helps alleviate and possibly cure, according to the Australian Cancer Society, prostate cancer. And and this is a little known fact here, if older in life, if you don't keep stimulating your clitoris and keep your clitoral hood lubricated, it could fuse shut. So there's a lot of like intimate health.
That sucks for women. Right? Does anything fuse on men?
No, it doesn't. But they have their own set of problems, like enlarged prostate, which leads to erectile dysfunction, rapid ejaculation. So there's a lot of things. Still
don't feel bad. It might be too soon, but they still get theirs. Not fused shut.
Yeah. So for me, that's where I felt like I could do the most good. I do telehealth calls for UCLA Health, and I do lecture at UCLA with doctors and therapists and gynecologists, urologists, and help them know that there's sex toys and sexual wellness that can help people. So that was kind of a long question. But most people find that, I was closeted, I'm gay, I want to help more people transfer from inside the closet to outside. So that's going to be my specialty. They find that when they look at themselves and what's resonating with them, they can take things in their own life and better help other people with their personal experiences.
Everybody is learning No way. Everybody's learning stuff today.
About the clitoral hood shutting up. I didn't even know that. I'm thinking, what?
Yeah.
That's depressing, but I guess, hey, ladies,
Jeopardy.
stay
Yes.
busy out there.
Well, it
you-
also stabs off like people would say, oh, it hurts when I have sex. I'm going into menopause, yada, 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 vaginal atrophy. You use it or you lose it. So keeping the blood flowing down there can make sure that you won't have vaginal atrophy, or at least you can delay it as long as you can.
It's
So
self-care, important self-care.
It is, yeah.
What kinds of questions do you get, Sunny, when you speak at events and people like follow you into the bathroom and whisper questions because they didn't want to raise their hand during it? Like, what kind of questions are they asking you? Is it really all that out there, or it's just normal stuff and everybody's asking you the same whispered question?
Well, it's twofold. There's the ones that, can I just show you this rash? I get those. Who doesn't, right? But mainly, I'll be honest, my top question is anal sex. Does it always hurt? Is it supposed to hurt? What's pegging? What's the best way to do it? If I do it, is poop just gonna fly out? All these types of questions. That's usually my number one question.
Which is funny, because if everyone's asking you that, it's like they should have just asked you and then they would have had their answer. Everybody would have their answer.
Right? It's still so considered taboo, even though ancient Greeks have been doing it for 4,000 years. So it's just crazy to think about that. But can I share a couple of tips?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So number one, spoon. So if you're spooning and you're laying side by side with your partner, either with the penis or a dildo behind, back into it, because then you're controlling the speed, the pace, the thrusts, the comfortability, and you're in charge. And also spooning makes your large muscles in your buttocks relax, because they tend to tense up when something goes near your rectum.
What?
So yeah.
Imagine that.
Yes. So, and it's all about communication too. And that's,
So if that's what you were going to ask,
just
now you know.
Yes. Spooning and backing into it. Beep, 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 beep.
Do you make that noise? I don't.
I don't.
During.
Yeah.
Here we go, people.
One thing that changes a lot is over time, there's our appetites and our interests and our hungers in our teens and our 20s and whatnot. And then we're going past 40 and we're going past 50. We're heading to 60. Is that part of your bailiwick? Do you talk a little bit about sex and aging and how a lot of times couples in every configuration find themselves stuck in a spot where one person has more drive than they've ever had and the other person has no drive? How do you talk through that?
Okay, so that's a great question. I love you for this, Chris. Yes, the number one thing that breaks down is touching. Touching is so important, even if it's just like talking to someone and putting your hand on their arm or whatever. That's like my first thing. As far as libido, this is going to sound crazy, but chia seeds for men and green tea for women will help raise energy, and it will also raise your libido. Also, masturbation, because it gets blood flowing down there and it makes you crave intimacy. And my one tip, if all of those other things fail, is adrenaline. So I always recommend whitewater rafting, zip lining, because adrenaline makes your blood flow. And the next thing you know, you're really horny.
That's why horror movies are so popular.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I just thought the same thought you thought.
Yes. So that's really crazy. Another quick tip too, and this is kind of funny too, and this happens, the same thing is things like that. You hold your breath when you get afraid. So something happens, you're all, oh! It also happens, you hold your breath when you have an orgasm. So if you want a better, stronger orgasm, breathe through it, like consciously take breaths, and it keeps your blood flowing and more oxygen going to your genitals, and it increases your orgasm.
We have some comments from the community. One thing we do on the Backpack Show, in addition to bringing you guests with unusual insights from unusual places that can help you, is to bring the audience into the show. So Nancy says she'd rather throw a frisky.
But what Michelle she really meant, skip down 2 more. I'd rather throw a frisky, part 2. And then finally, frisbee. F-R-A-S-B-E-E, Nancy. That's
frisbee.
why. She wants to throw a frisky frisbee.
Michelle says sound effects too. What a show. I know we had to improvise the sound effects. I mean, we do our best here on the Backpack Show to bring you what you need to succeed.
Well, I do have I have a bullet that I'm going to turn on, and there.
No, we can't see where it is. So this
How's
is
that?
very, very risque.
It's on my desk, Carrie.
Well, can we
Yeah.
transition into toys? Because that's always fun.
Oh, we can. Yeah. Absolutely.
Sex Toy Concierge.
Yes.
Right. That is absolutely one of your businesses. So
Yes.
there's been such a change, right? So, and I think there's like a fandom for kind of each type of toy. Like I think there's your magic wand fans, and they just want, magic wands or nothing. There you go. There's bullet
Right.
fans because they need the super small one that they can hide in everywhere that they ever wanted to hide it. There's bunny rabbit types. They're all the rabbit people of the world. This is so impressive. And then I was going to say the womanizer seems to have been kind of a newer one in both its solo and its dual. See, that's got that.
I love how they
Great.
come in from nowhere. It's like
I want to just see her side of the camera is what I want to see. She's got like an organ of organs.
She's got all the things.
So you didn't mention these little fun things.
I did not mention those little fun. Oh, right. Accessories for the
Yes.
the penis. So
They
those look
are.
like gears when you hold them up like that too.
Aren't those fun?
That sort of
Yes.
intimates a twisting feature.
When you put them all together like
Yes.
that, they look like brass knuckles.
I know.
or the wiggles.
Get
So-
ready.
The question is, how does somebody find what their toy is, and how do they know that they're in the right? As a concierge, how do you help them find the right toy for what they need to have to happen?
Yes. So this is fun. I'm having fun. Thanks, guys. So
Not the
I
most fun you've
started-
had this week, Dr. Sunny.
I know, right? I have a little more fun doing other things, toy testing. So what I basically do is tell people to start small and then don't go for the right to the erogenous zones. So people will grab something like this and go directly to a nipple or a clitoris or the head of the penis. And I don't recommend that because if it's your first, experience with vibration, you need to go to the lesser known erogenous zones. Those are any areas where your skin is the thinnest. So that's going to be like the inside crook of your elbow. It's going to be in your neck. Start there just to get accustomed to it. Now, and this is, I'm going to let everybody in on this secret. The way you actually test vibration is on the tip of your nose, because your nose is cartilage and your genitals are cartilage as well.
I just read a book about that, Dr. Sunny, or part of a book. It's called Breath. And one of the things they're teaching in Breath is that we all breathe through our mouths way more than we're ever supposed to. It's supposed to be pure nose breathing. And one weird thing that happens is that when we start having things like erectile dysfunction and sexual dysfunction, it's because the nose has got a lot of the same tissue as in the penis and the clitoris and the nipples, which is all erectile tissue. So when you just said that, I was like, I know this one. From a book
That's
about breathing,
amazing.
by the way.
See,
book
we
about
just talked
breathing.
about breath too. Don't hold your breath when you orgasm. So I always start small. I like little clitoral things that you can just like slip down there.
Oh.
These are great in between when you're having sex play and stuff,
that
in
was a
between you and your
shoehorn.
partner.
I was thinking for Carline, but sure,
Yeah.
you do you.
That's fun. And then I also like little bullets, like remote control, because then both people can basically play with it,
Mm.
which is fun.
What about voice control
start
toys?
small.
Are those a thing?
Those are coming. Oh my gosh. So I did see a prototype for one that you say faster, 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 and it speeds up. So those are coming. Isn't that exciting? Or
Now,
is
does
just
it does
me
it
that gets
recognize
excited?
your voice, or will because somebody could
You
really
just
mess
you.
with you?
So far as what I've seen is it does not recognize your voice and it will respond to anyone. So that could get dangerous.
You could get sticky. Yes.
Yeah, it could. And then I would say it depends on, like we were talking about vibration or suction, or so we talk about, things like that, what works and what doesn't. If somebody's never played with a toy before, sometimes I'll just offer something like a blindfold, because when you get rid of one sense, it heightens all your other senses. So you don't see, but now taste and touch and everything else is heightened.
Oh, Kara. She's like,
That's not
the
all
voice
that's coming.
activated sex toys are coming.
Not all that's coming.
Oh.
Great.
How do
So
you make a career out of something that people want to know about but don't want to talk about? Like,
Yeah. It kind of, it's the industry is kind of like one big family. We take care of each other. We all know each other. But I will say it's one of those things where I'm on a plane a lot and somebody will ask what I do. And it goes from medical devices to, well, medical devices sold as a novelty only to sex toys. And then it goes to either, or awesome, I have so many things I want to know. So it can go either way.
it's not just about sex, though. It's also about confidence overall.
Yes. Okay. So I'm so glad you said that, Carrie. I am the sexual confidence coach for the Marigold app. And that's where it's basically a confidence app. So you can get confidence in what you eat, what you wear, how you speak, how you date. But I believe there's 12 different modules on there that I recorded. And it's all about how to ask for what you want in bed, how to be more confident with your style, how to become more confident in your body and your body image and what pleases you so you can better explain that to your partner.
and there's a deal, marigold.co, code
We are.
Sunny50 to save
Yay.
50%. Woo! 50%
Yes.
off. So you could get that app and really load it up with some Sunny.
Well, there's not. Well, yes, but there's more
And
than
lots
just Sunny
more.
there. There's all kinds of other confidence boosting things. So things for like if you're going for a job interview or asking for a promotion or asking someone out on a date, it's not just sex. It's like the same things that fuel great sex, fuel great life in general.
That's true.
Which is why I put an insertable in before I go for the job interview. I think I'd be a great fit here.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
You know,
That's-
this is why we can't have nice things.
No.
You know, when I talked about earlier the sort of difference in different people's drive, you had some really good advice there. Those must be, I mean, besides rashes and whatnot, that must be what comes up a lot too, is that people say, I lost my mojo somewhere, or, you know, I just don't have it anymore. And how come he can't understand? Or, you know, there's always that sort of otherness that you have to put on it. Where do you go with that?
So it's kind of twofold. I find that in most relationships, you're bored. And that's why you haven't lost your libido. You're just really bored. So one little task that I do with a lot of my patients is I ask that both of them separately take Post-its and put on there 3 things that you want to try sexually. So it can be try a massager, it can be try pegging, it can be I want you to wear your high heels the next time we have sex. Naked, but high heels, things like that. Fold them up, put them inside like a vase or a box or something in your bedroom where you can see them. And then each of you flip a coin, you know, paper, rock, scissors. One person on date night gets to pull one out. And if you don't do it, it starts the conversation. Like, I didn't know you liked shoes. You know, do you have a foot fetish? Well, I'm not sure. You know, so it just sort of, you know, do you feel the same way about cowboy boots? So
Right.
it starts communication, because so many people don't even know they love sex, they want to have sex, but they don't know how to talk about sex, especially with their partner. So
I bet.
something easy like that, it makes it a lot of fun.
Greg Narain says he needs a dictionary to look some of this up. So I think that's an interesting statement. So
one with pictures.
Interesting, valuable, relevant content. Nothing wrong with being bold and zigging when others zag. And I did get a few laughs. Dr. Sunny's pretty awesome and she's speaking truth. By the way, this is showing up on LinkedIn, you know, the business website. So this is live.
I mean, you've got the degree, you've the PhD, you've got the master's in clinical sexology, you've even got the white coat. It's not like you're just out there like peddling, you know, dirty secret sex toys or something.
Right.
You're coming from a place of knowledge and experience.
Yes.
So, yeah. So we have to do a quick break. We have to talk a little bit about sponsors. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to say that one of our sponsors, the first and foremost, first sponsor was StreamYard. You could go to cbrogan.me/StreamYard. So if you want to make a show just like this and talk about your sex toys there, go to StreamYard, cbrogan.me/StreamYard. And you can get going. I've had a few people buy it in the last little while. Rabbi Michael Green bought it yesterday, I think, or the day before. I was really grateful for that. We are also sponsored by our friend Fazia Burke's company, PubSite. You can go to pub-site.com. She has FSB Associates, but now there's a site called PubSite. Carrie, what can we do?
If you're an author, you have a book and you need a website for it, but you don't know how to build one, go to pub-site.com. You can build it yourself. It's really, really easy to do. If you don't even want to do that, even though it's easy, they'll actually do it for you. So they have a 2-week free trial. Go and check it out. It's just $19.99 a month, pub-site.com. You just write the book that can take care of your website.
2 weeks for free, and then you spend no more than 20 clamaroos to keep your site up and running. That is not
Sunny, is Dr. Sunny going to write a book?
That's a great question. What do you say, doctor?
I have 2 in the works, and one I can tell you about. It's multiple types of orgasms, and the toys needed to try every single one.
Well, in all sincerity,
homework.
if you need to promote the book, FSB Associates is the premier book promotion PR firm around. So
Yeah, and that's not even the
I just
sponsor
wrote that
part. We
down.
just say that one because we like them.
yes, for years
we're
they've got some of the very
super
best
Fazia.
authors around. So Carol says she just used StreamYard for a live product demo. Couldn't believe how easy it was. And Kara says she's going to look into StreamYard for art demos. But I'm willing to bet.
I bet if Dr. Sunny had a StreamYard show with demos, that would be a show.
Right? Wow.
That would be a show.
NC-17, you guys, for that one.
But people need it, and I went to a woman-owned and operated adult bookstore where they did this toy demo, and it was super educational because there are so many different things that you don't know because you just don't know, and because a lot of people don't talk to their kids about it.
No.
A lot of there's just a lot of non-conversation. So you had talked about someone who had made a really interesting choice with how they cleaned their toys. Maybe this would be a good time to talk about a good way to clean
What
toys.
not to do.
Okay, don't use gasoline. So that's what I was sharing. Was one of the rashes I was asked to look at was actual genital burns. So there are, and I actually have a couple of them. There are toy cleaners out there that are specifically made. There's misting spraying with silicone. You can boil it as long as it doesn't have a motor. So you can boil it in water. You can put it in the top rack of your dishwasher, which is always fun when your mom's staying with you for the holiday. And you can also clean them with a bleach water solution where it's 10% bleach and 90% water to clean your toys the right way. And then I always say, you know what, the best way to store toys, because what if you have like me, like a lot of them all over the place, white cotton socks, turn them inside out so they don't get too felty, but cotton is breathable. So it lessens bacteria growing on them.
Oh, so Sugar Jones says, if you do a show, you're going to break the internet. And then she talked about last week. It was a great conversation starter in a healthy way. Getting a lot of reactions.
Ouch to the gasoline,
ouch.
I'm assuming.
Fazia says, thanks for the plug. And
Which is funny timing for her to say thanks for the plug.
I know, right? I was going to let that one lie, but sure, go ahead.
Not me.
Sugar Jones says she's got all her toys in a hat box.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Right before you said socks, I went right to Ziploc and I said no, because then that keeps in moisture, which is a problem because then you can get mold.
Yeah.
Gross.
Mold and bacteria. That's why I love silicone. Gasoline. Because silicone is practically poreless. So that's why it's really hygienic. It's also hyperallergenic. So most people aren't going to be allergic to it.
Right. Well, and that's becoming important because love and play in the time of COVID is obviously a little bit different. There are people that are kind of eager to get their kink on, and they're getting ready to have their crazy parties, and they're making mistakes about what they think might be the right way for cleanliness at those opportunities. Have you addressed in any of your writings or anything else about sex in the time of COVID?
Yes. It's funny because one of the doctors in Canada just released a whole article about don't kiss during sex. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So I wouldn't say that. I'd say a lot of it's more cautionary. Make sure that if you're dating, you should probably start by maybe a few Skype or StreamYard calls or something first, and maybe some, mutual masturbation, but on your own on, FaceTime or something like that. Unless it's somebody that's in your household and you know that they don't have COVID actually.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
Another
don't
thing.
kiss.
Yeah, I've heard a lot that because all of us are quarantined pretty much, that mommy and daddy need time.
Mommy and daddy are going to go talk in the garage.
Yes. So everything right now seems to be occurring in the bathroom. So there's shower sex, there's waterproof toys, there's mommy needs me time in the bubble bath. There's a lot of that happening right now.
Wow. That whole kids show, the Rubber Dubbers, just took on a whole new meaning. But that's a thing. One question to the see, twice in one show. Well, you knew it was going to happen. Listen,
You knew it was going to happen today.
Business wise, they say sex sells, and sex toys have gone up 984% so far during the coronavirus. What's quasi interesting about that is there's also some questions about how is this going to shake out business wise for people after things get back to quote unquote normal. Do you think sex goes up when the doors reopen? Do you think sex goes down? And what's Dr. Sunny going to be doing with all that?
I think sex sells. It just does. So right now, I think more people are having it indoors and they're bored. They want to try something new. Mommy does need something that she can take in the bath with her. So I think that right now sales are up. When we start traveling again, because it's going to happen, and we get out and start resuming regular life, right? Regular life. I still think hotel sex is also a thing, and sex outdoors. I just wrote a great article about getting in the great outdoors and having sex outside. So I think that it's going to continue to grow. Everything I've seen is when I entered this industry, it was a multi-million-dollar industry. It's now a multi-billion-dollar industry. In the next couple of years, it's supposed to be in 55 billion, I believe. So I just don't see sex slowing down. And personally, I want to help more people, do more telehealth calls, create my own line of wellness products, and share the joys of all these sex toys that are out there with everybody.
So if people go to drsunny.com, you've got the downloadable to help them figure out kind of like maybe their place if they wanted to become a clinical sexologist, what their niche would be. If they want to go try out some toys, we have a 10% discount. If you want to build your confidence overall, check out the Marigold app and you can save 50% on that. And that's not just sex. Like I was pointing out, confidence it spills over into every aspect of your life. So lest we think it's just a sexy show today, we're about confidence and
sex and just to put a little bit of yellow highlighter on the idea that confidence helps with sex. I mean, look at me. And I use confidence as my only cool tool. That's all I got, So if you don't look like Bradley Cooper, then you have to be confident.
I can be as confident as I want. All guys ever care about are the 2 bumps under my shirt. They don't care. That's number 1 in my law school class. They don't care about my job. They don't care about that.
That's not all that interesting. Hey, let's go to person of the day. We've got a person of the day. This is sponsored by PubSite, pub-site.com. I was thinking about who I wanted to give it to, and I definitely think I want to give it to, I'm looking for the quote. Where is it? Oh, Nancy and her Frisbee. Aww. I think Nancy's our person of the day because she had to wrestle with the idea of throwing a Frisbee around.
Check out that mask. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Let me go back. I'll get it. I'm sorry.
Put it back up so we can see the mask.
There we go. She has a big smiling head on her face. That's for a minute.
Dynamite.
So. I love the haircut, by the way. Nancy got her hair's done fairly recently in the last few months. So yeah, that's our person of the day. And you don't get any prizes. If you find an apple somewhere at a store, you could eat the apple that looks like that one, and that would be good.
Do you get the glory?
Do get the glory being person of the day. And the Frisbee reminded me of an old Stephen Wright joke where he had this girlfriend and he said, I really love having sex with Rachel. It feels like going to having sex is like going to a concert. And he said, yeah, because after we're done, like we light lighters and we throw the Frisbee around the room. So I went right there. I was like,
Right.
sex therapist, Frisbee, got it. Perfect.
So for those of you who had questions that you really wanted to ask today, but you kind of didn't want like your face
Yes.
displayed with those questions, you know, the way that we do.
Kate
Yeah, Kate,
Colgan, how do you
it's
show
over.
up 36 minutes late? I wonder where you
you
missed
could have
it.
showed up 7 minutes late and probably missed the sex for most people.
We had
But
all
if
the
you had
sexes.
you didn't get to ask Sunny at drsunny.com.
Yes.
So super great to have you on. Thank you
Yay.
so much for being
Thank
part
you.
of that. That was what a grand old time we had. And see, we all made it through. Nobody blushed too bad.
What did your grandmother used to say about sex?
Well, you know, my grandmother had some really great sex jokes. I'll tell you one of them. It involved a priest, a turtle, and a bottle of soap. And the thing